Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here to Pocono Raceway as we're getting set for the second race of the first round and our 15th race of the season for the PCSRA Camping World Truck Series. As there's a look at your points over here, the right side of your screen. As you can tell, I'm in my room because, well, a couple of my roommates, well, one's already asleep, the other one's about to fall asleep in less than half an hour as of this recording. So I'm going to try to be quiet and not be very loud if you ask me. So I'm going to be professional. Anyway, we're getting ready for our 15th race. This is the the second race of the first round. Ava Murray on the pole position for the first time in her career, if I am not mistaken. Let's actually look at the Ava Murray. Nope, yep, it is. I am correct. First career pole. She is 41st in the points. Of course, she and Ingrid Pollard, ironically, alongside of her. Speaking of Ingrid, these two came in late in the season, so they're just trying to go find victory lane and all that. Lucci Bianchi in row number 2. He is 19th in the points. Last week's winner, Cody Smart, went to victory lane, moved him up to 29th position in the points. Highest playoff contender is Skylar Taylor. As you look at the rest of the results of qualifying, a couple of the War Sport trucks starting here at the rear of the field. This is the Pocono 150. And here is the playoff standings. As always, brought to you by Golden Corral. Chris Maley's the points leader. This is going to be the gap from first to eighth, or all of these gaps are first to eighth. Chris Maley's the points leader by 28 points over Skylar Taylor. Bradley Reen, 44 back, third in the standings. Kyler Anderson, 50 back, he's fourth. Connor Breton, 52 back in fifth. Zachary Fitzwater, 6th. Quentin Morris, 7th. Nikita Kuznetsov comes into this race at critical 8th position in the points. Josh Harmon, Jeff Scott, Prunes Martindale, and Alexander Underwood. So the gap from 1st to 8th, Chris Maley is 82 points above the cut line. Skylar Taylor, 54. Interestingly enough, the first two drivers in the points are right behind each other on that inside line of rows 3 and 4. Ironic. Bradley Reen came in this race 38 points above the cut line. Kyler Anderson, 30 above 8th in the standings. This is points ahead of 8th in the standings. Connor Breton, 28 points above the cut line. 22 points above the cut line is Fitzwater. Quentin Morris, 3 points above the cut line. And Kuznetsov, as I mentioned, came in this race in that critical 8th position in the points. Josh Harmon is 10 points below the cut line. Jeff Scott, 19 below. Prudence Martindale, 31 points below the cut line. And Alexander Underwood, 37 points below the cut line. Those four drivers need a good run today if they want to avoid heading into Indianapolis next week in a must-win situation. Going to do 30 laps around Pocono here today. And of course, next week is our first elimination race, in which, when the checker flag waves, we will go from 12 to our Elite 8. As 4 drivers will get eliminated. But we'll worry about that next week. We'll worry about this race here today at Pocono. Ava Murray, Ingrid Pollard, 2 ladies leading us to the green, and we are racing at the Tricky Triangle. Looks like Ingrid Pollard allowed Ava Murray to get the lead. So it looks like Ingrid was trying to tuck in behind the Toyota of Ava Murray, and looks like she has done so. Lucci and Bianchi right there in third. Making sure everybody got off turn number 1 good. They're heading down to the tunnel turn. And it looks like Lucci and Bianchi is going to try to take the lead going into the tunnel turn of turn number 2. This is a triangle track. 3 turns, 3 different straightaways. 3 different types of track. Skylar Taylor is going to lead. Of course, remember, none of our 12 playoff contenders went to victory lane at Chicagoland last week. And now Skylar Taylor will lead the first lap, and those are 5 critical bonus points for Skylar Taylor. Because let's not forget, if any of our 12 playoff drivers go to victory lane, regardless what happens next week in Indianapolis, they would move into the Elite 8. So Skylar Taylor's got to hope and pray. If she and Chris Maley have a good run, they'll be looking pretty good going into Indy, barring a DNF, as long as they don't DNF today, or it could really make the gap wide. But remember, not only a spot into the round of 8, the Elite 8, you would also get 5 playoff points for the reformatted after next week's elimination race, which will be very huge for you if you end up having a poor finish for the first race of the second round, which would be at Darlington. Skylar Taylor, still your race leader. Jonte Richardson not in the playoffs, just trying to find victory lane for him and him only. Richardson's 34th in the points. Didn't have a good run last week. Zachary Taylor, of course, finished dead last week. He is 25th in the points. And, of course, Skylar Taylor is trying to run down Chris Maley for the points lead here in this first round. But right now, it's looking pretty good. Like I said, if Skylar Taylor goes to victory lane, doesn't matter what happens to her next week at Indianapolis, she will be not just the points leader, but also would be the points leader in the round of 8, as she would lock herself a spot into the Elite 8, regardless what happens next week at Indy, if she wins this race. Check the back of the field here. Matthew Hubert's back here. Tatiana Guerra. Or Shrivastava back here. Zachary Taylor. Trying to find if any of our playoff contenders back here. Prudence Martindale's back here at the rear of the field. This is not where Prudence Martindale is. And remember, she comes into this race. If I pull up the playoff standings, there we go. She came in this race 31 points below the cut line. If she finishes right where she is, she might be heading into next week's race in a must-win situation. Brianna McShane, Ashton Lewis, Jeff Scott, and Josh Harmon, 2 playoff contenders also at the rear of the field. So is Kyler Anderson. Kyler came in this race 30 points above the cut line. Jeff Scott 19 below and Josh Harmon 10 below. Of course, those two are in the danger zone. Kyler Anderson was 30 above the cut line. Also, I see Alexander Underwood. Boy, this could put Alexander Underwood, if he doesn't have a good finish today, in a possible must-win situation for that 34 team. Just checking to see if anybody, where our playoff contenders are at. Of course, Chris Maley's back in 12. Ooh, they are almost going 4 wide. That is not a wise move on those drivers. And Connor Breton up here in second. Connor Breton came in this race 28 points above the cut line. And here he goes for the race lead. Of course, if Skylar Taylor, Chris Maley, or Connor Breton have good runs today, they could be safe, lock themselves a spot in the next round. But looks like Breton's truck got a bit tight. Skylar Taylor's going to still keep the lead. Skylar Taylor trying to become the first playoff driver to go to victory lane, trying to get her second win of the year, and more importantly, a spot into the Elite 8. Of course, in the PCSRA entirety, whenever we've had a new series, a female driver, except for Oreo Cup Series back in Season 1. But when PCSRA began in 2010, we ended up having a female driver win the championship. And I would not be surprised if history repeats itself. Of course, Connor Breton driving for MHR. Skylar Taylor's got her teammate Austin Shaw. And they're both out of Nice Motorsports. whether Skylar wins this race or not, she is looking pretty good to possibly advance, regardless what happens at Indy. And same could be said to Chris Maley. Connor Breton gets his 5 points. That's the second playoff driver that's led. Of course, Skylar Taylor and Connor Breton. Of course, I normally would say Taylor, but since there's two of them in the field, I have to put the first name into the equation. You know, 12 drivers trying to go for a championship. You got another 30 drivers that are trying to find victory lane. And Boris Sokolov came in this race the points leader of the drivers who missed the playoffs. I think there's going to be some drivers that are going to be probably in the danger zone heading into next week's race, or possibly going into that race in a must-win situation, I should say. See where the rest of our playoff drivers are. I only see Breton and Skylar Taylor. Chris Maley's running a 9, so Chris Maley looks like he might advance into the next round of the playoffs. Of course, Breton, and Skylar Taylor were drivers that are above the cut line. Maley was 82 points above the cut line. Skylar Taylor was 54 above, because Skylar was the second highest playoff contender. Connor Breton was the fifth highest. But like I mentioned, if Breton or Skylar Taylor wins, they're in the next round regardless what happens next week at Indianapolis. And even if Skylar Taylor, like I said, doesn't win, if she stays right where she is, she will more than likely lock herself a spot into the next round of the playoffs, as William Donuts has gone to second in that number 2 Gamebridge Chevy Silverado. William Donuts 24th in the points, still trying to find his first win of his of his Camping World Truck Series career. Yep, I was thinking about another truck series. Sorry, guys. And right now, out of the 12 drivers that made the playoffs, 3 have yet to go to victory lane. Kuznetsov, Moore, and Breton. William Donuts now takes the lead. I was going to get ready to say, let's see where the rest of our playoff drivers are running after timing and scoring updates. Let's wait for timing and scoring to update. Okay, Maley's 4th, Breton's 4th, sorry. Maley's 5th. Skylar Taylor's back to 9th. Looking for playoff contenders here. Let's pull up my playoff contender deal. Quentin Moore is 16th. Alexander Underwood is 18th. Kuznetsov is 23rd. He comes in that critical 8th position, the points. Fitzwater 25th. 28th, Josh Harmon, not the run he would have liked. Then some people that are right near the trouble. Right now, I think the lowest playoff contender is the 75. Boy, Kyler Anderson's going to be an interesting situation going into next week at Indy if he finishes right where he is. As Ingrid Pollard took the lead with the help of Chris Maley. And Chris Maley's going to go for the lead. Of course, remember, Chris Maley came this race 82 above the cut line. As we are on lap number 12 of 30. If Chris Maley wins this race, he will advance. Bradley Reams up to 9th. I didn't mention about him. Chris Maley currently the leader. And of course, those drivers I just mentioned that were below the cut line, they need to start going forward in a hurry. Whoa, Ingrid Pollard, careful there, honey. Almost ran the back of Chris Maley there. Bianchi leads. Let me check back here. Zachary Taylor running in last. If Taylor ends up last, it'll be the second week in a row he ends up last. The catch is last week he ended up last due to a wreck. This week he's running in last. Josh Harmon looks like he could be in a must-win situation heading into next week. Kyler Anderson will be in an interesting spot. Prudence Martindale, 31st, could be also another driver in a must-win. Jeff Scott running 25th. Not sure where this is going to situate him. Same with Fitzwater. Fitzwater and Kuznetsov came in. Well, Fitzwater came into this race. If I pull up the points, 22 above the cut line. Kuznetsov was in that critical 8th position in the points, so he'll be in an interesting situation. Alexander Underwood is moving forward, so is Quentin Moore. Remember, Quentin came in this race 3 points above the cut line. So Quentin Moore needs to get away from the danger zone, or he'll be in an interesting situation heading into next week. Lucian Bianchi starts lap 15 of 30. That is the halfway point of today's race. And of course, everybody that is a part of this series, let me know in the let me know in the Discord who you think the 4 drivers will be eliminated when I upload the playoff standings after today's race. A couple of drivers I have not mentioned that are having good runs, not battling for the championship. Dylan Matthews is one of them. Dylan Matthews came this race 21st in the points, so he's having a pretty good run. What's also crazy was that Brian James, who was the points leader early on in the regular season, he didn't even make the playoffs, and he was so consistent, but just never found victory lane. Since I'm in my room, I don't have to get interrupted by Stevens. We're past the halfway point. Would like to remind everybody, this is kind of a reminder I'm going to start doing for the playoffs. But if some of you have already taken care of this in my DM, I appreciate that. For those of you that don't know what I'm referring to, if you need to, and I'll put this in the description, reserve rights for 2025, the Coca-Cola Trucks, Buffalo Wild Wings, and Monster Energy Series are always open, because I will give you until the Toronto weekend of 2024 to confirm your reserve rides and all that, and then after that we'll start doing sign-ups before 2025 comes around. So if you want to get your reserve rights taken care of by me, and or tell me what driver will go into what series for Trucks, Buffalo Wild Wings, and Munster, and also the divisions. If you don't get in Munster, you'll be in divisions. If you want to get that taken care of, you need to do it with me in my DM, because my DM is always open. If you've already gotten your reserve rides done, and or the series you and your drivers are in, then you're all good to go. If you've already done your, I'll get with you as far as the reserve ride is the rides you will be in for next season when we cross that bridge. But if you want to get your reserve ride done, and then we'll start the second phase, because this is a 2-part as far as the reserve. One is you need to tell me if you're coming back to the series. Two, what series will you and your drivers run? So that way I know, that way I do not derp, and then you laugh at me and yada, 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 and you know what I mean. And then we'll worry about the reserve, and then we'll go over the rides when we cross that bridge. Ooh, careful there. That was Grace Takayama, and that looked like, yeah, that was Austin Shaw in the background, because I saw that powder blue 42 right there. They nearly had contact, but they stay off of each other. Of course, Lucci and Bianchi will be racing next season in the Coca-Cola Truck Series. And more than likely, the gal that's about to pass him would be joining him. That would be Ingrid Pollard. Coming to 11 laps of racing to go. I know Brian's about to get ready to go to sleep, so I'm just keeping it down for y'all so I'm not loud. Trying to stay professional here. Of course, I had a good day at work as of this recording on this Sunday night. The last Sunday in the month of June. Jeez, we've already gone past June. As of this recording, we'll be halfway through the year. Good grief. As of this recording, I do want to take this opportunity. Thank you guys for the birthday wishes. I cannot believe I'm 29. Next year, we're talking about the big 3-0. Sheesh. You know, you look at some of these names that are in the top 10 as far as the non-playoff contenders are concerned, that they have not been to victory lane. Bianchi is one of them. Pollard, Matthews, Murray, Takayama, Shaw, Sorgolov, excuse me, and that's kind of it. What they're trying to do is just find victory lane. That's all they're trying to do. Skylar Taylor, Chris Maley, Connor Breton, however, are just trying to clinch a spot into the round of 8, regardless what happens next week. And right now, Skylar Taylor and Chris Maley look like are the two drivers that might have the job done. And also in that birthday bash race that you saw as of this recording, I'm not going to spoil who won the race until you go find that out for yourself. Whenever this video comes out, somebody's going to have a big decision to make. Oh boy. Going to be interesting. And also, I want to take this opportunity to thank, Lucian, Naguera, Maxie Chilton, who I know Maxie's not having a good run. Maxie's running in 32nd. Ooh, that's not good. But I just want to thank Tatiana Naguera, Lucian Bianchi, and Maxie Chilton, as well as everybody else that took part in this past season's Foster Series for 2023. I had a blast doing it. I can't wait for 2024 with all of these new guys and gals that we're going to have. And we're going to have a wonderful season. And of course, we're going to have at least more races next year than what we had this year. Because this year, we only had 13, We had 13 regular season races. And then, we had 20, I'm going to have to go back and look. So I'm not going to spoil it for y'all. That was not what I want, you derping thing. Yeah, we had 20 regular season races and then 10 playoff races. Trying to avoid spoiling who won the championship. Well, you probably already know who won the championship. I'm just not going to tell you. Dylan Matthews, still your leaders. We're coming to 7 to go. And of course, perfect timing, because since I'm in my room, we're about less than a minute away from us needing to be in our rooms at 10 p.m., which, to be fair, I'm already in my room. I just turned off my TV because I just got done watching the cup race as of this recording. Dylan Matthews, I don't think, has ever won on my channel before. I know Ingrid Pollard has won a race in the amateur series, but Dylan Matthews has never won on my channel. So this would not only be his first career win, if he does win, but it would be the second Thor Sport driver to go to victory lane. Zachary Fitzwater has been the only Thor Sport driver to go to victory lane. And what's really crazy about this is that in real life, the truck series, all the rides that are in this field, that is, as Ingrid Pollard's trying to go by Dylan Matthews, Pollard has raced here before, because we're actually using her knowledge to get ready for the amateur series later this year. But what's really crazy, as I'm looking at the points, the rides that are locked into the real Craftsman Truck Series did not even make the playoffs, which is insane. Yeah, insane. That is crazy, if you ask me. And I bet you somebody's going to say BRUH, which is a BRUH. And we're about to have, and we've had a lot of small teams go to victory lane. Of course, we've had On Point Motorsport win twice. We've had Zachary Fitzwater, the only Thor Sport truck that made the playoffs. Shocker there. I expected Thor Sport to have all 4 of their entries in the playoffs. We have, Rayan Brothers Racing that's in the playoffs with Jeff Scott, Prudence Martindale for Young's Motorsports, Alexander Underwood. Look at all these smaller teams I'm saying. CR9 made the playoffs. I can tell you, that's a bra moment. And of course, there is one truck that would make the playoffs in real life, and that would be that 35 team. Possibly. But all those teams that had wins in the real life truck series did not even make the playoffs in this, and that's a bra moment. Lucian Bianchi, who pulled off a impressive win at Memphis in the Foster Series, which everybody was shocked, is leading this race. And look who just joined in the battle for the win, possibly, Avon Murray. Wouldn't that be awesome if Avon Murray goes to victory lane? That would make Skylar very happy. Of course, would be the would be cool for her morale. The other thing I do need to mention is that in the Foster Series, we had one female driver make the playoffs. That was Jessie Yard. The other 15 are males. Out of the female drivers that we have in this series, Skylar Taylor and Prudence Martindale made the playoffs. The other 10 are male drivers. Oh my word. We've had more female drivers make the playoffs in this series than we did in Foster's. What kind of novel concept of the blue hedgehog do we call this? And here's a novel concept. Lucian Bianchi in the Foster Series won a playoff race. Does that mean Tatiana Guerra and Maxie Chilton may win in a playoff race? Who knows what could happen? And T-Motor Frank will get a kick out of that if that does happen. Oh, man. Of course, these drivers don't have to worry about fuel mileage in all seriousness. So they're good to go as far as 30 laps is concerned. If this race was 40 laps, then I'd be concerned about fuel. So we're coming to 2 laps to go. Now we got Avon Murray, Ingrid Pollard versus Lucian Bianchi. Here comes Avon Murray. We talked about Skylar Taylor being the only female out of the 3 drivers from her account. Well, Avon Murray is one of those drivers. And, of course, remember, she replaced Sam Bright, who really struggled. And she's now got a chance to win. I mean, you look at these 3 drivers in different specs. Bianchi just ran a part-time schedule in Foster's. Avon Murray, this is the only series she's running in right now. And Ingrid Pollard is running in the Amateur Series Championship. That's crazy. As we're coming to the white flag, looks like nobody has had an answer to the Scholler System Nations Guard Chevy Silverado out of Spire Motorsports. Wouldn't that be a bro if Spire wins? But here comes Avon Murray, trying to find a way to get around the 7. She better have Ingrid Pollard to help her pass. But Avon will be happy with a good result, nevertheless. And at least she's pleasing Skylar Taylor, which is cool. Coming out of the tunnel turn, does Avon Murray have anything for the 7? She's got to make the move in turn number 3. And looks like I don't think she's going to do it. History has repeated itself in 2 different series. Lucian Bianchi gets his first career Camping World Truck Series win at Pocono. Something tells me Tatiana Nagora is going to win a playoff race, and I'm going to bet you my money it's either probably going to be in the second race of the second race or the first race of the second round. I'm starting to think that in the back of my mind because I'm starting to get some flashbacks of the Foster series. But Bianchi has done it. Team owner Frank is delighted. One of his drivers has finally found victory lane. Well done, Lucian. You made Frankie very proud of you. No wonder why you're the best talented prospector we wanted in this series. Or in any PCSRA series in general, that is. Avon Murray, well, I know she's going to be sad, but a second place finish as a part-time driver, that is definitely what the doctor ordered. And she was 41st in points. Well, she'll still be 41st in points because here's the ironic part. Avon Murray, Ingrid Pollard, 2 drivers that came in late. 41st, 42nd, 2nd, and 3rd. Oh my goodness me. Skylar Taylor is 4th. Let's do some crunching in our... Skylar Taylor, 54 points above the cut line. I think Skylar Taylor's in a good situation. Caution's out, but doesn't matter. Race is over unless there was an incident. I'll probably check after the race after I'm done recording this. Dylan Matthews will get 5th. William Doan at 6th. Jesse Art 7th. Chris Maley in 8th. That might have just locked Chris Maley into the playoffs. As far as the next round is concerned, Grace Takayama in 9th, and completing the top 10 was Angel Gutierrez. Good run for Mr. Angel Gutierrez. And I see Skylar Taylor, to be more specific, and Chris Maley in the top 10. Trying to make sure I clarify on which Taylor is which. Where did the rest of our playoff drivers finish? Zachary Fitzwater came home 11th. That'll give some breathing room for him as far as the playoff situation is concerned. Connor Breton came home in 15th. He is one of the drivers in the playoffs. Came as race 28 above the cut line. We'll see where this is going to situate him. Let me make sure that I counted that right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I was right. Okay. Quentin Moore, 5th playoff driver, 19th. Bradley Reen, 20th. That would be 5 and 6. Prudence Martindale, 22nd. Came as race 31 below the cut line. We'll see where this is going to situate her. Jeff Scott, 25th. Nikita Kuznetsov came as race in that critical 8th position in the points. That's not good. If you look on down through the remainder of the finishing results. Looking for playoff contenders. Alexander Underwood, 33rd, and he had a dismal run last week. Oh boy, is Alexander Underwood heading into Indianapolis in a must-win situation? More than likely, that's what he's about to face. Kyler Anderson's going to be an interesting situation. 34th. Sean Hart, Zachary Taylor, 35th, 36th. Not the runs either of them want. Josh Harmon came as race 10 points below the cut line. I think he's also in a must-win situation heading into next week's race because he did not beat Kuznetsov. And everybody ahead of him in points, he finished. So it looks like Josh Harmon's still going to be in the danger zone. I think he and Alexander Underwood are going to be two drivers that will head into Indianapolis more than likely in a must-win situation. The question marks are going to be Prudence Martindale and Jeff Scott, where this is going to situate both of them. But I think Jeff Scott is going to be probably still in the danger zone. I don't know if Prudence Martindale's done enough to get herself out of the danger zone, but we will have to wait and see. Let's see what actually, let's see, it looks like Brian James had an incident. Okay, this is after the race. Trying to find out what caused this little kerfuffle. Don't know why the yellow came out. Oh, whoa, what in the flipping world was that? Looks like the 23 got involved. That's Mitchell Hodak. Okay, let's go to helicopter. Okay, I've never seen this before. Then again, I've seen crazier things. Let's see. Looks like Kuznetsov and the one truck got together. That's then they just started stacking up. That's Matthew Hubert. And then Brian James just RKO'd the 23 of Mitchell Hodak. Almost flipped him over. Kyler Anderson got a piece. So did Alexander Underwood. Didn't matter. The race was over anyway, so. Don't know why we're wrecking under the cooldown lap, but nevertheless. But that's going to do it from here at Pocono. If you guys enjoyed today's race, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the PCSRA crew today. Points are going to be really shaken up as far as this is concerned. But I can tell you, Chris Maley and Skylar Taylor, with their results, might have locked themselves a spot in the next round. We will have to wait and see. When showing your full finisher results, you'll see our updated playoff and overall points heading into Indy. Until then, I've been Ian Villa signing off. Goodbye from Poconos. You've been watching another broadcast of PCSRA TV, the best center racing since 2017. Goodbye from Pocono.